Hi guys, thanks for watching. This is something I've been promising for a little while. It's what I did to make this Doomsday perform like this Doomsday. It's not a lot to be said about these. These are just regular $100 Doomsday Barrage trucks. They're four-wheel drive, crawler, but underneath they can be made to work so much better with just a little bit of time. If you can look here, this one I've moved the battery from the back to the front and vice versa with the ESC. The only thing you'll have to do is put an extender on there for your servo, because your servo wires are fairly short on most of them and they won't reach from all the way up here to all the way in the back. The only thing other than that you might want to do is put an extender in also for the lights on the front if you plan on continuing to run them. The servos on these trucks are super weak. Now the one I'm using on this one is the same one I've used on a lot of them. It's the 20 kilo waterproof Lansu servo. It's all metal gear and it is really overkill for this little bitty truck, but overkill on a servo isn't a bad thing. The tires that come on these look really great. I love the way they look, but they don't perform hardly at all. I mean, you really have to work to make these perform out on the rocks. Changing it from a forward battery to a rear battery as they did, it doesn't take a whole lot to figure out how to change that. You just need to take those screws loose for the rear shock towers and those screws loose for the front shock towers and switch the mounting. When I did this, it was a little difficult because this still hits the servo just a little bit, but it's not enough to really worry about. So that wasn't that big a deal. The other thing I did was I took the bumpers, the bumper stays here, and I actually just rotated them inside instead of having it run out and down. Now they run out and go up. Gives you a little bit of extra clearance on that front bumper. It's really helpful when you do that because otherwise this thing gets caught on rocks almost constantly. The only other thing I can tell you to watch out for is these drive shafts. They are a little bit clunky in the joints, but they seem to be holding up really well. I've taken this truck out and I've beat on it quite a bit, and nothing has broken on it aside from the servo just really being underpowered. I haven't had any issues. Now the rear bumper, as you can see, I've moved it around to be on the back side. And of course I hung the banger skull down here because that thing banging on the back window will drive you crazy. All I really did was took the screws from the stays and put them in the top here and just turn this over. It's a bit of a difference from the stock one, but it gave me a little more ground clearance, and my approach angle for the rear is a lot better now than it was before. As you can see, the difference in the bumpers is only about a ½ an inch, but a ½ an inch can be worth a whole lot when you're just trying to get up over the rocks. It really helps a lot to get that up out of the way. One other thing you should probably be aware of is if you'll notice, this hood is really caved in right here and the fender is kind of rolled in a little bit right there. This one is not that way. It is not caved in. It is not bent down. These bodies are really susceptible to the heat, and of course I live in Phoenix, which means that I get the heat all the time. You can actually see where the hood sticks up a little bit above the grill on the stock one, and the one that got accidentally left in the car for a couple hours is considerably lower. So I don't really think you'd have to trim this body much if you needed to clearance the rear wheel wells. I think you could probably just heat those wheel wells and fold them back in the other direction. You can see right where that rear body sits. This thing doesn't interfere at all. I haven't had to move the body mounts or anything to make this work. This worked out really well, a lot better than I thought it would, and it still looks a heck of a lot better than this. I don't know if this looks like somebody was supposed to have flipped a Jeep over upside down and then stuck a truck body on it or what, but I got rid of that. This looks much better and it gives you a lot better clearance. Of course, that's where I hung banger there, and everything seems to be going well. Like I said, by moving this piece, you can really increase your rear clearance because this piece hanging down here actually does get caught quite a bit. That bottom edge is pretty rough from getting caught on rocks. But once you flip it over and you stick it out the back side, it clears the body, you don't have any issues, and it gives you just that little bit of protection on the back body so that when you come off the rocks it doesn't hit and then immediately rip your body off. I've had a couple of different bodies on here. I actually had a 1/16 slash body on here for a little while. It looked really cool, but of course it's not really all that fantastic for this particular tire setup. If there's anything else I needed to cover that I didn't, of course, let me know. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. Thanks, guys. Good luck on the trails.